Secretary reads Senate Bill 254.
Senate Bill 254 by Senator Cowser of the 46th, a bill to intend an act to amend Chapter 23 of Title II, the Official Code of Georgia Annotated, the Georgia Hemp Farming Act, to provide milligram limits on Delta-9 THC and consumable hemp products, to provide for related matters, to repeal conflicting laws, and for other purposes. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Regulated Industries and Utilities recommends that this bill do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Cowser, Chairman. Mr. President, Senate Committee on Regulated Industries and Utilities offers the following substitutes to Senate Bill 254, bill to entitle an act to amend Chapter 23 of Title II of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated, the Georgia Hemp Farming Act, to provide milligram limits on THC and consumable hemp products, to provide for a definition, to provide for related matters, to repeal conflicting laws, and for other purposes. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Recognize the senator from the 46th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senators, it's interesting all the different subject matters we learn serving in this body. This year and last year, we've learned an awful lot about hemp products and THC. We first regulated this in last year's Senate bill that gave the enforcement powers to the Department of Agriculture and also gave them the power to issue rules and regulations further controlling the use of hemp products. What we've learned is that the federal limit of 0.3% THC in a hemp product is an enormous amount of THC when you extrapolate it out to the volume. We've learned that this 0.3% dry weight is the equivalent of over 1,000 milligrams of THC for a 12-ounce beverage. Most states are limiting greatly the amount of THC that can be included in a beverage or in a tincture or any kind of lotions or in gummies. And the reason is to protect the consumers, protect the public from the psychoactive components of THC. So you're going to get high. What the science has shown us, we learned an awful lot in regulated industries, is 2.5 milligrams will get you high. 5 milligrams, no question. And if you look on your desk, the senator from the 56 has sent out a little chart that shows the equivalent of 2.5 milligrams of THC to beers. And basically, the best they can translate that is 2.5 milligrams is equal to a beer, a glass of wine, or a shot of liquor. What we're trying to do in this bill is just follow up on what the senator from the 32nd just passed on capturing all forms of THC, not just Delta-9, which naturally occurs in hemp and marijuana, but also capture Delta-8, Delta-10, other variants that are still THC. This bill captures them all as well, but it essentially codifies the rules and regulations that the Department of Agriculture came up with. Back in the fall, the original rules and regulations of the Department of Agriculture limited you to 5 milligrams per 12-ounce beverage and would not allow you to have larger than a 12-ounce container for the liquid forms of these hemp-infused beverages. It limited the gummies to 10 milligrams per gummy and no more than 150 per package, which would be 15 servings. As far as the topical creams and whatnot, it limited you to 1,000 milligrams of Delta-9 THC per package. And then the tinctures, which are little oils, it limited you there to 1 milligram, not to exceed 10 fluid ounces in a container. This January, those rules were updated and they increased the beverage amount from 5 milligrams to 10. And it increased the amount per package from 150 to 300. What this does is go back and codify the original rules. Takes it back down to 5 milligrams per beverage and back down to 150 milligrams per package of the gummies. This is for public safety. You may hear other people speak on this, but these current 10 milligram beverages are like 4 shots of liquor, 4 glasses of wine, or 4 beers, all in one can. So what we're doing is allowing folks to sell beverages that will impair your ability to do a lot of things, but for one, to drive. And it is still illegal to drive under the influence of alcohol, and we tell you what's the level that we deem to be intoxicating or to impair you. You may have heard 0.08. So that's roughly 4 beers we say is intoxicating, you're impaired. On THC, I don't know if the science is there to tell exactly how many milligrams or nanograms it takes to impair you, but I think everybody in the industry agrees that if a 10 milligram serving is equal to 4 beers, or 4 glasses of wine, or 4 shots of liquor, you take that in one time, you're going to be impaired. And the law in Georgia is your DUI drugs if there's any THC in your blood test. So we're putting loaded guns in people's hands in the form of a can or a gummy, and we need to protect them. We need to keep it away from children, and we need to make sure that people are responsible in their usage of these products. So with that, Mr. President, I strongly encourage passage of this as we just codify the stricter rules and regulations and try to sort of get our arms around this new industry. I yield for any questions there may be.
You have no questions, Senator.
Thank you. I yield the well and ask for your support.
Secretary, read the amendment.
Mr. President, Senator Robertson, the 29th and Alvarez, the 56th, offer the following amendment. Number 1, to amend the Senate Committee on Regulated Industries and Utilities substitute to Senate Bill 254 by replacing line 2 with the following. Hemp Farming Act so as to prohibit the sale of consumable hemp beverages that contain THC, to provide milligram limits on THC in consumable hemp by replacing lines 44 and 45 with the following. B, a drink or beverage that, inserting I, contains, striking contains alcohol or constitutes an alcoholic beverage under Title III, inserting or I contains THC. Mr. President, that completes the, and for other purposes, Mr. President, that completes the order.
Recognized Senator from the 29th. Speak to the amendment.
Hello, colleagues. This is a very simple amendment. I'll keep it very brief. We're on a bullet train when dealing with marijuana. And let's be clear, that's what we're dealing with. You can call it cannabis, you can call it CBD, you can call it whatever you want to call it. You can call it, farmer's product, whatever. We're dealing with marijuana, weed, the chronic, whatever you want to say. That's what we're dealing with. What this amendment does is it prohibits the sale of beverages that contain THC in Georgia. And I never thought I would stand in this well and say this. The state of California just put out an emergency order 3 weeks ago, signed by Governor Gavin Newsom, to pull all beverages containing THC off the shelves in California because of the adverse effects on people that were buying it out there and the damage it was causing and the numbers of individuals going to the emergency room. California has been dancing in the arena of marijuana for years and years and years, and they realize that they don't have control over it. We need to pump the brakes, slow down, and let's make sure we're doing the right thing for our state. And another very political thing to say, but is absolutely true in this case, I was talking to 2 of my colleagues just a few minutes ago. It's not about those of us in this room sitting here, the adults that I'm looking at. It's about our children. It's about my 5 granddaughters. It's about your children. Think of the world they're coming to while we're making these fast decisions related to something that there is so limited study on because it's a Schedule I drug, and we have not been allowed to run the types of medical tests on these that we should. So I would ask you please to support the amendment. And I would also ask my friend from the 46 not to object. And with that, Mr. President, I'll stand for any questions if I have any. If not, I'll be happy to yield the well.
You do have one question, Senator. I recognize
Yes,
the senator from the 1st.
Thank you, Mr. President. Does the senator yield?
I do.
I just wanted to applaud you for bringing this amendment. Certainly the senator from the 46 does put brakes on that and tries to thread a needle when it comes to that. But basically what we're talking about is not the next bill where we're discussing medical marijuana. This is really recreational marijuana that we're getting to. We're combining alcohol and THC in a formula that we really don't know what the outcome is going to be. because there's not been good studies relating to this, because this has been a Schedule I drug. So I agree with you. We do need to pump the brakes on this. As far as I'm concerned, doing away with beverages, I think, is a good idea. Let's keep it in the medical marijuana arena with the other 18 states that do this. Isn't that true?
That is true. My good friend and the doctor from the first, I appreciate your support and thank you. And with that, Mr. President, I'll happily yield the well.
You have one question, but you're always welcome to yield, Senator.
I will take that one
All
question,
right,
Mr.
Senator
President.
from the 41st.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator, do you yield?
I do.
Can you just say in plain English again what exactly your amendment is trying to do?
If you read on line 3, you'll see so as to prohibit the sale of consumable hemp beverages that contain THC.
So, to be clear, if you will yield,
I do.
you are attempting to take from the market any drinks that have THC in them. Is that not true?
You and I just communicated perfectly. Yes, ma'am, that is true.
Thank you.
Thank you. I yield the well.
Senator's yielded. Any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Chair hears none. Questions on the adoption of Amendment 1. Adoption of Amendment 1 authored by the senator from the 29th. I was getting to that, Senator. We do have objection. Would you like to speak for your objection, Senator? No? No? All right. So the question is on adoption of Amendment 1. We do have objection from several members. So all those in favor of the adoption of Amendment 1 will vote yea. All opposed, nay. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the adoption amendment number 1, the yeas are 29, the nays are 27. Senator from the 14th, for what purpose do you rise?
Move to reconsider that amendment vote, Mr. President.
All right. The senator from the 14th has moved for reconsideration. So all those in favor of the amendment will vote yea. All opposed, nay. Secretary, hold on one second. This is for the reconsideration. This is for reconsideration right here. All right. All those in favor of reconsideration will vote yea. All opposed, nay. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the motion for reconsideration, the yeas are 27, the nays are 29, and the amendment has passed. The amendment has been adopted, excuse me. Question is on the adoption of the committee substitute as amended. Is there objection to the adoption of the committee substitute as amended? Hearing none, the committee substitute as amended is adopted. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none, the main question is ordered. Question is on the passage of the bill by substitute. All those in favor will vote yea, all opposed nay. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 42 and the nays are 14. This bill having received the requisite constitutional majority, therefore passed by substitute. All right, so we're going to go ahead and stand at ease for lunch. I know the pro tem and his staff have got a good lunch lined up for all the members here. So we're going to just stand at ease, and we'll come back. We'll come back about 1:15. All right.